Ukraine revives morale in the Donbass battlefield. Ukraine tries to strengthen soldiers' morale to deal with Russian attacks in Donbass, but the situation is not easy when the fighting drags on. Amidst the fire and smoke of war in the Barinkove area, the eastern front of Ukraine, Sviatoslav Vakarchuk, the country's top famous singer, appeared in jeans and a bulletproof vest. "We came to lift the morale of the soldiers. I'll sing something to them," said Vakarchuk, 46-year-old rock star from the band Okean Elzy, as he held his guitar. "Their mood is very good. Of course they don't want to be here at all. But they are very focused, determined and ready to win," Vakarchuk said. "We will help them understand that everything will be okay. However, it is difficult to maintain optimism on the front lines after 2 months of continuous shelling from Russian forces." After Russia announced the start of the second phase of military operations, focusing on the goal of liberating eastern Ukraine, Barinkove became the focus of the fighting. "The morale of the soldiers is quite complicated," said Irina Rybakova, a spokeswoman for the Ukrainian Army's 93rd Brigade. "Of course professional soldiers are always ready to fight, but new recruits are more complicated." Trench war. At the Barinkove Gateway, about 5 kilometers from the Russian force line, a group of 6 Ukrainian servicemen was deployed at a checkpoint. They were always ready to plunge into the trenches that they dug with a shovel every day. "If we didn't, we would certainly have died," said Vasyl, 51, who was fighting with his son Denis, 22. After a salvo from Ukraine, a Russian shell fell from a distant hill into a nearby field. "They are adjusting the range," warned Wygor, a 34-year-old soldier. "In just a few minutes, the next salvo will begin to fall here." Nearby was a makeshift kitchen, stewing soup with carrots, potatoes, and onions. The soldiers said the locals provided them with everything, except cigarettes and alcohol. Downstairs, 6 soldiers were trying to take a nap between 2 guard shifts. But in the Donbass, the night is even worse than the day. Rybakova said that Russian forces often choose the time of night to pour the most intense fire on the area to psychological suppression of the enemy. In the field, a 3-meter-long cylindrical object dug deep into the ground. It was the Tochka, a large ballistic missile from the Soviet era. A Tochka bullet fell on an abandoned school, now a military base, on April 22, making a large hole about 15 meters in diameter. Leopard skin look. Russia on April 22 emphasized the goal of complete control over eastern and southern Ukraine to create a seamless land corridor from Luhansk to Donetsk and down to the Crimean Peninsula, to ensure the ability to control the Azov coast as well as control the sea. To establish sea supply routes to Ukraine. Ukrainian forces focused on defense, but could not hold Izium and Kremina, the first 2 localities to fall to the recent Russian advance. "We are defending a very fragmented front line, with no clear boundaries. We control one village, they keep one, interwoven with leopard print," spokesman Rybakova said. All the arterial roads of the region were sabotaged to prevent the advance of Russian forces. The Ukrainian army has placed many obstacles such as railway tracks, anti-tank trenches or mines on the road to prevent Russian vehicles. The local military junta declined to provide specific figures, but Ukrainian soldiers on the front lines admitted their losses on the Donbass front were huge. When asked about casualties, a soldier from the 25th Brigade said his unit had been severely affected. "I have lost a good comrade. His wife is about to give birth in the next few days," choked the soldier. On the 61st day of hostilities, Russia announced that it used a missile to destroy an oil refinery in the industrial city of Kremenchug, in northern Ukraine. The Russian Defense Ministry also announced an attack on many military facilities and equipment in Ukraine last night, killing about 500 service members. Meanwhile, the General Staff of the Ukrainian Army announced that it had repelled several attacks in the east of the country. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, says more than 5.2 million Ukrainians have fled the country after 2 months of hostilities. The number of people evacuating to Ukraine's neighbors has been steadily decreasing since the first month of the conflict. According to AFP,